If you deliver for Grubhub, here is something the app will never tell you. Grubhub does not withhold a single dollar in taxes from your earnings. Every payout, every base payment, every tip lands in your account with zero taken out for federal or state taxes. That is one of the most financially dangerous things about working as a Grubhub driver, and most drivers do not realize it until they are facing a tax bill they cannot pay. This video is going to fix that. We are going to break down exactly what you owe as a Grubhub driver in 2026, how to use Grubhub's own tools to stay organized, the deductions that can seriously cut your bill, and a new rule about tip reporting that every Grubhub driver needs to know for the 2026 tax year. Welcome to the Freelancer's Wealth Blueprint. We help gig workers and freelancers understand taxes, build savings, and stop leaving money on the table. If this is the kind of content you need, subscribe and hit the bell. Let's start with why Grubhub's pay structure makes taxes especially important. Grubhub's base pay per delivery is typically higher than many competing platforms, generally ranging from about $3.50 to $7 per delivery, depending on your market, the distance, and whether you are working a scheduled block or picking up orders on demand. That higher per delivery income is a real advantage. But it also means your gross taxable income adds up faster. More earnings, more taxable income, and more reason to make sure you are claiming every deduction you are entitled to. Now, here is the tax structure you are working inside. Grubhub classifies its drivers as independent contractors. That means your delivery income is self-employment income, and two taxes apply. First is regular income tax, the same one every worker pays. Second is self-employment tax, which is 15.3%. This breaks down to 12.4% for Social Security and 2.9% for Medicare. As an employee, your employer would pay half of this. As an independent contractor, you pay the full amount yourself. Here is how that plays out in real numbers. If you net $30,000 after deductions from your Grubhub work in 2026, your self-employment tax alone is roughly $429. That is before you even calculate income tax. This is why financial advisors consistently recommend that gig workers set aside 25 to 30% of net earnings throughout the year rather than waiting until April. Now, let's talk about the forms and income records you need. Grubhub will issue a 1099 NEC if your earnings for the year reach the reporting threshold, which is $2,000 for payments made in 2026. This is an increase from the previous $600 threshold, which changed under the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. If your earnings exceed $20,000 and you have at least 200 transactions in a year, you may also receive a 1099-K. Most Grubhub drivers will primarily deal with the 1099 NEC. Here is the important part. Even if your earnings are below $2,000 and you receive no 1099 at all, you are still legally required to report every dollar you earned to the IRS. The threshold determines what Grubhub must send to the IRS. It does not change what you must report. To access your earnings records, log into the Grubhub driver portal or check the earnings section of the Grubhub for Drivers app. Grubhub provides an annual earnings summary that breaks down your base pay, tips, and bonuses for the year. Download this early and keep it alongside any 1099 you receive. These numbers go on Schedule C, where you report your delivery income and all business deductions. The net profit from Schedule C then carries to your Form 1040, and Schedule SE calculates your self-employment tax. Now let's talk about a rule that is new for the 2026 tax year, specifically tip reporting. Starting with the 2026 tax year, tips received through app-based gig platforms like Grubhub must be separately reported on the 1099 and NEC using a new tip occupation code. This does not mean tips are newly taxable. Tips have always been taxable income. What changes is that tips are now tracked and reported as a separate line item, which gives the IRS more visibility into tip income for gig workers. Make sure your reported tip income matches what Grubhub shows in your annual earnings summary. This connects to the tip income deduction introduced by the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. For tax years 2025 through 2028, eligible workers may be able to deduct up to $25,000 in qualified tip income. The deduction phases out at $150,000 for single filers and $300,000 for married filing jointly. Grubhub drivers who rely heavily on tip income may benefit meaningfully from this. Confirm with a tax professional that your situation qualifies. Now let's go through the deductions that actually move the needle. The mileage deduction is almost certainly your largest write-off. For 2026, the IRS standard mileage rate is 72.5 cents per mile for business miles. If you drive 12,000 business miles delivering for Grubhub this year, your mileage deduction alone is $8,700. That $8,700 comes straight off your taxable income. The alternative is the actual expense method, where you deduct the real costs of operating your vehicle, including gas, insurance, maintenance, depreciation, and registration fees, proportional to how much of your driving is loss for business. Run both numbers and use whichever gives you the larger deduction. Be aware that once you choose a method for a given vehicle in its first year of business use, there are restrictions on switching. Track your mileage from the moment you go online in the app to the moment you log off. Miles driven between deliveries while you are actively working are deductible. Use a mileage tracking app to do this automatically. Manual logs work too, but an app with timestamps creates a cleaner audit trail. Beyond mileage, the business portion of your cell phone is deductible. If 75% of your phone use is for Grubhub, you can deduct 75% of your monthly bill and the proportional cost of the phone itself. Insulated delivery bags and coolers purchased for your Grubhub work are deductible business supplies. Parking fees and tolls incurred while delivering are deductible, even if you use the standard mileage method. A dash cam mounted in your delivery vehicle is a deductible business expense. A portable charger you use to keep your phone alive during long delivery shifts is deductible. Even a Grubhub-specific mileage or delivery tracking app subscription counts. One more category worth knowing. If you use a portion of your home exclusively and regularly as an office for managing your delivery business, logging mileage, handling expense records, and coordinating your schedule, you may qualify for a home office deduction. This is less common for gig drivers, but worth discussing with a tax professional if it applies to your situation. Now let's cover quarterly estimated taxes. Because Grubhub withholds nothing, the IRS requires you to pay estimated taxes yourself during the year if you expect to owe $1,000 or more in total. The 2026 quarterly due dates are April 15th, June 15th, September 15th, and January 15th of the following year. Missing these does not just mean a larger bill in April. It means underpayment penalties that start accruing from each missed due date. Use IRS Form 1040-ES to calculate your quarterly payments, or use a tax app that does the math for you based on your ongoing income. Here is your action plan. Log into the Grubhub driver portal now and confirm your earnings summary is accessible. Track every business mile starting today. Keep receipts or digital records for every deductible expense. Set aside 25 to 30% of net earnings from every payout. Pay quarterly by the due dates. And if you are earning consistently from Grubhub, consider opening a SEP IRA or solo 401k to reduce your taxable income and build long-term wealth at the same time. Grubhub's higher base pay is a real income advantage. Use the right tax strategy and you keep more of it. Subscribe for more guides built specifically for gig workers. See you in the next one. This content is for educational purposes only and does not constitute tax advice. Consult a qualified tax professional for guidance specific to your situation.